The perpetual motion fallacy. O yes, seekers after perpetual motion, how many vain chimeras have you pursued? Go and take your place with the alchemists. Leonardo da Vinci, 1494. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth. John F. Kennedy. What would you say if I told you that perpetual motion machines are the most prevalent machines in the world, and they are virtually everywhere, from laptops to automobiles to space shuttles and everything else in between? Depending on your level of education or indoctrination, your reaction may be one of ignorant and naive indifference, or ignorant albeit educated indignation. In either case, the common denominator is always ignorance, which is often mixed with emotion. The perpetual human emotion which perpetuates the ever-persistent ignorance is fear. In fact, you may already be having a Pavlovian fear-based reaction to the subject, wondering if men in black or Russian KGB FSB are going to storm in at any moment and assassinate you or your career for even reading this article or entertaining an idea about one of society's greatest taboo subjects. FEAR is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. This article will provide you with access to the truth if you are daring and open-minded enough. Use your reasoning mind while keeping the fear-based fight or flight response at bay for a few short minutes. The history of perpetual motion is a history of the foolhardiness of either half-learned, or totally ignorant persons. Henry Dirks, Perpetuum Mobile, or, A History of the Search for Self-Motive, 1861. The reasoning mind is defined as the ability of the mind to think and understand things in a logical way. This article will proceed in a logical step-by-step format in order to establish common ground and a common foundation of understanding upon which the truth can finally be built and the many falsehoods exposed. Logical truth number 1. What is a perpetual motion machine? A perpetual motion machine is a machine that can perform positive or negative work without requiring an external energy source. Logical truth number 2. What is work? Work can be defined as the change in the kinetic energy of an object where the net work equals the change in the object's kinetic energy. Work can also be defined as the transfer of energy. Logical truth number 3. What is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is a form of energy that an object has by reason of its motion. An object which is not moving has zero kinetic energy. The kinetic energy of an object increases with speed. Logical truth number 3. What is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. Energy is required in order to increase the kinetic energy of an object. Energy is also required in order to decrease the kinetic energy of an object. Logical truth number 4. What is positive work? Positive work is defined as the increase in the kinetic energy, acceleration, of an object. The object speeds up and thereby gains kinetic energy. The kinetic energy increase, in joules, equals the energy applied, in joules. There is something lamentable, degrading, and almost insane in pursuing the visionary schemes of past ages with dogged determination, in paths of learning which have been investigated by superior minds. Henry Dirks, Perpetuum Mobile, or, A History of the Search for Self-Motive, 1861. Logical truth number 5. What is negative work? Negative work is defined as the decrease in the kinetic energy, deceleration, of an object. The object slows down and thereby loses some of its kinetic energy. The kinetic energy decrease, in joules, equals the energy applied, in joules. Logical truth number 6. What is a perpetual motion machine of the first kind? A perpetual motion machine of the first kind is a machine which can perform work without requiring the input of an external energy source. A perpetual motion machine of the first kind violates the first law of thermodynamics, the law of conservation of energy. A perpetual motion machine of the first kind requires an internally created energy source in order to perform work. A perpetual motion machine of the first kind must also operate at infinite efficiency. Logical truth number 7. What is the theory of conservation of energy? The theory conservation of energy states that the total energy of an isolated system remains constant. It is said to be conserved over time. In an isolated system, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, rather it can only be transformed or transferred from one to another, and net efficiency cannot exceed 100%. Logical truth number 8. Does the total kinetic energy in an automobile remain constant, or is it conserved over time when an alternator is employed? No, the total kinetic energy of the automobile is reduced when an alternator is employed because the alternator performs negative work on the automobile. Logical truth number 9. Where does the alternator get its energy in order to perform the negative work in reducing the automobile's kinetic energy? The energy required to perform the negative work in an automobile's alternator while decelerating the automobile is created electromagnetic field energy, which is created inside the alternator's current-bearing wires at the subatomic quantum electron level via electron fission and electron fusion according to the law of creation of energy. Ignorance of the principle of conservation of energy does not prevent inventors without background from continually putting forward perpetual motion machines. Robert A. Millikan. Logical truth number 10. What is electron fission? Electron fission occurs in all current-bearing wires when an electromotive force or voltage is applied to them in a closed circuit and loose electrons are forced out of their valence orbits and they cascade within the wire as electric current. Logical truth number 11. What is electron fusion? Electron fusion occurs when the cascading and unstable electrons drop back down into their lower energy valence orbits and release energy in the form of photons. Logical truth number 12. What is a photon? A photon is a massless elementary particle and is the force carrier for the electromagnetic force. Logical truth number 13. What is the law of creation of energy? The law of creation of energy explains how electromagnetic field, photon, energy is created in all current-bearing wires via electron fission and electron fusion. Logical truth number 14. What is a car alternator? A car alternator is an electric machine which has the ability to perform negative work in reducing the kinetic energy of an automobile without requiring an eternal energy source. Logical truth number 15. Is a car alternator is perpetual motion machine of the first kind? Yes. A car alternator is a perpetual motion machine of the first kind because it has the ability to perform any magnitude of perpetual negative work at infinite efficiency, reducing the kinetic energy of an automobile without requiring any external energy being supplied to it while doing so. Logical truth number 16. And the energy required for a car alternator to perform the negative work at infinite efficiency according to the work energy principle is photon energy. Yes, photon energy or electromagnetic field energy is being created at the subatomic quantum electron level inside the alternator's current-bearing wires. This created energy is responsible for performing the negative work in all automotive alternators, perpetual motion machines of the first kind. I were better to be eaten to death with rust than to be scoured to nothing with perpetual motion. William Shakespeare. Logical truth number 17. So all electric vehicles also employ perpetual motion machines of the first kind as well during regenerative braking? Yes, the electric generator in all electric vehicles also operate as perpetual motion machine of the first kind when they are performing negative work reducing the kinetic energy of the EV. Logical truth number 18. So all car alternators and EVs violate the theory of conservation of energy during regenerative braking? Yes. Electromagnetic field photon energy is being created inside them, inside the current-bearing wires, at the subatomic quantum electron level via electron fission and electron fusion. Logical truth number 19. Where is the transfer of energy when the negative work is being performed in car alternators and in EVs during regenerative braking? There is no transfer of energy in electrodynamic or electromagnetic systems when either negative or positive work is being performed. Electromagnetic field energy is not converted, transformed or transferred when negative or positive work is being performed at infinite efficiency because electromagnetic fields represent rigid immovable walls to each other and are in fact isolated systems which cannot exchange energy with each other. Logical truth number 20. Electrodynamic and electromagnetic systems violate the work, energy principle and the theory of conservation of energy. Yes, electrodynamic and electromagnetic systems perform positive or negative work at infinite efficiency with created subatomic quantum electron, photon, electromagnetic field energy without the loss or conversion of energy. Logical truth number 21. When was the first perpetual motion machine of the first kind invented? The first perpetual motion machine of the first kind was invented in 1820 by Hans Christian Ørsted when he used created electromagnetic field energy in order to increase the kinetic energy of a compass needle. Ørsted also simultaneously discovered the law of creation of energy at this time as well. All things are made of atoms, little particles that move around in perpetual motion, attracting each other when they are a little distance apart, but repelling upon being squeezed into one another. In that one sentence, you will see, there is an enormous amount of information about the world, if just a little imagination and thinking are applied. Richard P. Feynman. Logical truth number 22. The law of creation of energy was discovered in 1820? Yes, the law of creation of energy explains how electromagnetic field, photon, energy is created via electron fission and electron fusion. Logical truth number 23. Are there other perpetual motion machine of the first kind? Yes, the second one was invented in 1822 by Michael Faraday when he invented the world's first electric motor. Logical truth number 24. Electric motors are perpetual motion machines of the first kind? Yes, all electric motors perform positive work at infinite efficiency with created electromagnetic field energy and do not require an external energy source. Logical truth number 25. What about the electric input power consumption in electric motors? 100% of the energy consumption or conversion, work, in an electric motor is electric input energy conversion to heat energy via Ohm's law, Joule's law, Watt's power rule, the work, energy principle and the theory of conservation of energy. Zero electrical energy is converted to mechanical energy because 100% is already consumed as heat energy and electric motors are not heat engines. There is no physical or mathematical way for electric input energy to be converted to mechanical output energy in an electric motor. All electric motors create electromagnetic field energy according to the law of creation of energy and they all perform positive work at infinite efficiency as perpetual motion machines of the first kind. Logical truth number 26. So all electric vehicles are propelled, accelerated, by perpetual motion machines of the first kind? Yes, by photon-powered perpetual motion machines of the first kind to be exact. Logical truth number 27. And all electric vehicles are decelerated by perpetual motion machines of the first kind during aerogenerative braking? Yes, by photon-powered perpetual motion machines of the first kind to be exact. One day man will connect his apparatus to the very wheelwork of the universe and the very forces that motivate the planets in their orbits and cause them to rotate will rotate his own machinery. Nikola Tesla. Logical truth number 28. So the first perpetual motion machine of the first kind was invented in 1820 by Hans Christian Ørsted, the second one was invented in 1822 by Michael Faraday and the third one was invented in 1834 by Michael Faraday as well. Are there any more? Yes, 6 more perpetual motion machines of the first kind were invented and U.S. patented by Thane C. Hines between 2007 and 2018. They include the 1. U.S. patented Regenx generator perpetual motion machine of the first kind innovation which has the capacity to generate any magnitude of electric output power at infinite efficiency while requiring zero mechanical input power. 2. U.S. patented bitoroid step-up and step-down transformer perpetual motion machines of the first kind innovations which have the capacity to deliver electric output power to a load at infinite efficiency while requiring zero electrical input power. 3. U.S. patented Regan X stepper motor perpetual motion machine of the first kind innovation which has the capacity to perform any magnitude of mechanical work at infinite efficiency while generating any magnitude of electric output power also at infinite efficiency. 4. U.S. patented Regan X quantum motor perpetual motion machine of the first kind innovation which has the capacity to perform any magnitude of positive work at infinite efficiency while requiring zero electrical input energy. 5. U.S. patented electric vehicle regenerative acceleration perpetual motion machine of the first kind which has the capacity to perform any magnitude of positive work at infinite efficiency while increasing the kinetic energy of an electric vehicle while recharging the EV's batteries. 6. The US patented internal combustion engine alternator which has the capacity to recharge the ICE alternator while simultaneously performing an magnitude of positive work at infinite efficiency. Logical truth number 29. US perpetual motion machines of the first kind by inventor Thane C. Hines. https://patentsjust.com/inventor/Thane C. Hines. Logical truth number 30. World's first perpetual motion machine of the first kind by Hans Christian Ørsted and the discovery of the law of creation of energy of 1820. Mechanical and thermal work performed via energy conversion and energy creation in Ørsted's compass experiment of 1820. Created electromagnetic field energy to kinetic energy increase formula. Change in kinetic energy equals 1/2 of mass times final velocity squared minus 1/2 of mass times initial velocity squared. Thermal energy conversion equation. Energy transfer equals mass of materials times specific heat capacity of material in joules per kilogram Celsius times change in temperature. The kinetic energy increase of the compass needle equals the magnitude of electromagnetic field energy created. Work energy principle. This means that the work done is equal to the change in the kinetic energy. 1/2 of mass times final velocity squared minus 1/2 of mass times initial velocity squared. If the net work is positive, kinetic energy increases. Work refers to an activity involving a force and movement in the direction of the force. A force of 1 Newton pushing a compass needle 2 meters does 2 joules of work. Energy is the capacity of doing work. Energy is required to accomplish work. In order to perform 2 joules of work you must expend 2 joules of energy. The thermal energy increase of Ørsted's lab equals the magnitude electrical to heat energy converted, where Q equals energy flow, K equals overall heat transfer coefficient in watts per square meter per Celsius degree. A equals heat transfer area in square meters. Delta T equals temperature difference in Celsius degrees. Logical truth number 31. World's second perpetual motion machine of the first kind by Michael Faraday in 1822. The day I built an induction heater, and a free energy motor and used quantum physics to prove that energy can be created at the subatomic quantum electron level. By Michael Faraday. In 1822 I used a piece of wire and a battery to create an induction heater. When I applied a voltage to my wire from my battery, electric current flowed in the wire. Moving electrons in the wire converted some of their kinetic energy to heat energy and it warmed up my lab. I applied Ohm's law and Joule's law and I calculated exactly how much electrical energy was being converted and dissipated as heat energy from the equation. Power equals current squared times resistance. Then something really exciting happened. I accidentally dropped a magnet into my mercury bath and I noticed that the kinetic energy of the wire increased from a static equilibrium of 0 to a dynamic equilibrium that was greater than 0. I used the work energy theorem to calculate the exact amount of created energy by measuring the change in kinetic energy of the wire. I calculated that the electrical to heat energy conversion was being performed at 100% efficiency. And the mechanical work was being performed at infinite efficiency with energy that was being created at the subatomic quantum electron level. You are welcome. Sincerely, Michael Faraday. Logical truth number 32. World's third perpetual motion machine of the first kind by Michael Faraday 1834. The discovery of negative work being performed by created subatomic quantum electron energy. By Michael Faraday in 1831 and Emil Lenz in 1834. Faraday's law of induction experiment showing electromagnetic induction between two coils of wire. The liquid battery right provides a current which flows through the small coil A, creating electromagnetic field energy around coil A. When the coils are stationary, at static equilibrium, voltage is induced in coil B, no current flow is induced in coil B. But when a small coil A is moved in or out of the large coil B, the magnetic flux through the large coil B changes and a voltage is induced in coil B. Current flows in coil B, which is detected by the galvanometer G. Negative work is performed by the created electromagnetic field energy around coil B as it interacts with the created electromagnetic field energy around coil A, and it actively resists the approach and departure of coil A in and out of coil B according to Lenz's law of induction. The kinetic energy of approaching coil A is reduced and negative work is being performed by created subatomic quantum electron energy created around coil B according to the work energy principle. Michael's Faraday's law of induction experiment. And the discovery of negative work being performed by created subatomic quantum electron energy. Logical truth number 33. Law of creation of energy of 1820. How electromagnetic field energy is created via electron fusion and electron fission in all current-bearing wires. Law of creation of energy and law of conservation of energy in all current-bearing wires. How positive work and negative work have both been performed at infinite efficiency since 1820 and 1834 respectively. 1. When an electromotive force is induced in a current-bearing wire according to Faraday's law of induction, free electrons are caused to leave their valence orbits and cascade within the wire as electric current. 2. Some of the electrons' kinetic energy performs work in inductive heating the wire according to Ohm's law and Watt's power rule. 3. 100% of the energy conversion in the wire is due to Joule heating or electrical energy to heat energy conversion according to Watt's power rule, the work energy principle and the law of conservation of energy. Power equals current squared times resistance, where P is the heat energy conversion work performed over time, R is energy conversion ratio, and I is electron flow magnitude. When R is infinite ohms, power equals 0 watts, 0 current flow exists and 0 energy conversion exists. When R is 0 ohms, power equals 0 watts, maximum current flow exists and 0 energy conversion exists. When R equals 0 ohms, maximum current flows in the wire and maximum magnetic field energy is created around the wire. 4. When the free electrons return back to their valence orbits they emit photons, which are packets of energy. 5. The photon release creates the electromagnetic field energy around the current-bearing wire. 6. The created photon, electromagnetic field energy has been performing all the negative work system kinetic energy reduction in every electric generator at infinite efficiency since 1834 according to Lenz's law of induction and work energy principle. 7. The created photon electromagnetic field energy has been performing all the positive work system kinetic energy increase in every electric motor at infinite efficiency since 1820 according to work energy principle and the law of creation of energy. While every electric motor since 1820, every electric generator since 1834 and every transformer have all been simultaneously performing useful work as induction heaters transferring electrical energy to heat energy according to Watt's power rule, the work energy principle and the law of conservation of energy. 8. In 2007 it was discovered that created electromagnetic field energy can now be used to perform both positive work system kinetic energy increase at infinite efficiency during electricity generation and during motor action when the timing of the current flow in the current-bearing wire is delayed in the time domain according to the work energy principle, Hind's law of induction, and the law of conservation of energy. Work energy principle. This means that the work done is equal to the change in kinetic energy, 1/2 of mass times final velocity squared minus 1/2 of mass times initial velocity squared. If the net work is positive, system kinetic energy increases. If the net work is negative, system kinetic energy decreases. Work refers to an activity involving a force and movement in the direction of the force. A force is 20 newtons pushing an object 5 meters in a direction of the force does 100 joules of work. Energy is the capacity for doing work. You must have energy to accomplish work, it is like currency for performing work. To do 100 joules of work, you must expend 100 joules of energy. Power is the rate of doing work. Or the rate of using energy, which numerically the same. If you do 100 joules of work in 1 second using 100 joules of energy, the power is 100 watts. Work done is the amount of energy transferred. Work done equals force times distance moved in the direction of force. Law of creation of energy of 1820. Law of creation of energy states that, Electromagnetic field energy can be created and absorbed at subatomic quantum electron level via electron fission and electron fusion in a current-bearing wire. The process of electromagnetic field energy creation and energy absorption at the subatomic quantum electron level via electron fission and electron fusion in all current-bearing conductors. When an electromotive force, electron motive force or voltage is applied or induced in a current-bearing wire according to Faraday's law of induction, it causes loose electrons to exit their valence orbits via electron fission and cascade within the wire as electric current. When an unstable and dissociated electrons return back down to their lower energy level valence orbits via electron fusion, they emit photons which create and constitute the electromagnetic field energy around current-bearing wire. The subatomically created electron fusion photon energy is the internally created energy source, which performed positive electromechanical work and increased the kinetic energy inertia of Ørsted's compass needle in 1820 while simultaneously violating Newton's first law of motion. This subatomically created electron fusion photon energy is the same internally created energy source which has been performing all the negative work in every electric generator since 1834 according to Lenz's law of induction, the work-energy principle and the law of creation of energy. Thane C. Hine, CEO, Potential Difference Inc. Clean Tech Research and Development. Thane H. at potentialdifference.ca. 1-613-293-1131. We generate solutions.